Hey guys, Kim Jong Spoon here, and we're doing another tank review, this time of the T40, the Tier 4 American tank destroyer. This is the big brother of the T82, and it carries over a lot of the good characteristics of the T82, and then adds some more that the T82 didn't really have. The first good characteristic that it carries over is the mobility, but we'll take a more in-depth look at that when we look at this tank in the garage. The other one is the gun. This tank can mount the same 105mm howitzer, but again, we'll look at that in the garage. The characteristic that the T82 doesn't have that this thing does is armor. So the armor is alright. Technically, this was based on the chassis of the M3 Lee, however, the armor is different from the Lee in certain respects. So you have 51mm of kind of the lower plate, it's kind of rounded, I'm not sure what you'd call that. 38mm upper frontal armor, and then you have a ring of 19mm, and then around the gun is 0mm right there. On the sides, you also have 38mm, and then you have the top armor extends down a little bit, and the rear is 38mm. And this is really interesting, beneath the tracks is still 38mm. So the sides and rear and most of the front are the same armor thickness. And HE doesn't like to go through the armor, at least the front armor, at that angle. At the side, you can get some HE shots through it, but with lower caliber guns, that might be difficult. If you're firing a howitzer at the side, you can definitely get through that. But if you're firing a howitzer at the front, you have to aim for the upper section, this 19mm of armor. So let's take a look at the crew and internal modules. So the internal modules, we've got a forward-mounted transmission, so you can set fire to this tank with shots to the lower plate. However, you don't really want to be shooting at the lower plate because it's the thickest armor on the vehicle. We have our ammo racks kind of spaced around at random locations. We have our fuel tanks and we have our radio. So they're really spread out, but what tends to get damaged for me most often is just the engine from shots to the rear. It takes up almost the entire rear of the vehicle. Now, I've learned not to show people the rear of the vehicle, but when I was first starting to learn this tank, the engine got damaged quite a lot. As far as the crew is concerned, we have the driver, the gunner, the commander, and 2 loaders. And the loaders are the ones that tend to get killed most often, but I don't have problems really with my crew getting killed. This is one vehicle where the crew doesn't really like to get killed a whole lot. Vehicles like the T82 or even the E75 and E100, the crew members tend to get killed a lot, but this vehicle I haven't had that problem, mostly because I've learned from playing the T82 not to be spotted at all by enemy tanks, or when I am spotted to have more enticing targets for the enemy to be shooting at. So now, for more information, we're going to take a look at this tank in the garage. So now that we're in the garage, let's take a look at some of the upgrades you can get for the T40. First upgrade would be the engine. It gives you a little bit better horsepower. Let's see, yeah, 40 better horsepower. I got this one first just to get the mobility, the extra mobility to get to those good sniping positions early. Yeah, suspension, 2 degrees better traverse speed, nothing to write home about. We've got the howitzer from the T82. I use this gun on this tank, and I'll get to that in just a sec, but the other gun that you could use is the 76mm gun. This gun has obviously less alpha damage, but better pen, better rate of fire, and better accuracy. So if you like to really sit in the back and snipe, this would be the gun for you. However, I am more of a aggressive T40 driver, so I like the one-shot kill capability that the howitzer offers because of its very high alpha damage. Now, if you want to train for the Wolverine, this would be an appropriate gun to use because the Wolverine, again, doesn't have the howitzer as an option. It'll use this gun stock, but it is just as thinly armored as the T40. So, and again, it's a tier higher, so you could be facing T29s and Tigers in the Wolverine, so you really want to be sitting in the back and sniping, but I like the howitzer. And now let's take a look at the equipment. So I have a gun rammer, because you always put a gun rammer on your tanks. I have a gun-laying drive, so I can pop out, fire, and pop back into cover. And a camouflage net, because I don't like to get spotted until I pull the trigger. And that allows me to catch enemy tanks off guard. And even if I am spotted, usually I kill them with one shot, and if not, there's cover behind me or next to me that I can pull back behind. Ammo-wise, I carry all HE, because I'm a little bit low in credits right now, so I don't want to be wasting money on heat ammo, but you could carry like 10 heat rounds. There's so much ammo in this vehicle. If you just pulled the trigger every time you could, I don't think you'd run out of ammo in a single game, so you don't have to worry about having the right amount of each type. Consumables, I got a case of Coke, repair kit, and a multi-purpose restoration pack, which is pretty much standard for any of the vehicles that I run. Alrighty, so that's a T40 in the garage. Now let's take a look at 2 replays that I got in this vehicle that kind of illustrate how you should be playing it. So here in a Tier 4 game on Middleburg, and I'm going to be heading up to a little bush location right in the convergence of this ridge and the central ridge where I can put cover fire down for any of the tanks that are pushing towards the opposite side, like that T28 over there. So I'm hoping the T28 or the BT7 gets some spots in early. The T28 takes a hit, and he doesn't spot the tank that fired, so that's of concern. But this Lee yellows across, so he should be spotting somebody. Yep. And he takes a bounce from the Cruiser 4. I'm looking for a shot, but the shell takes so long to fly through the air, I don't want to miss until this 38 NA gets spotted. So I put one into him, setting him on fire. He repairs his gun and puts the fire out, and I get spotted. So I pull back to reload, and I know this guy's trying to bail, so he takes one more hit. This is kind of a dodgy shot, but I pull the trigger, and we secure the kill. So now there shouldn't be anybody else up here, and the enemy team have taken the town. So turn to the right here to get a shot on this LTP, but he gets unspotted. But I get spotted. So I'm trying to throw some jukes in here, back up a little bit, and then I head for this bush to let my camo net activate and put some shots into him. Yep, there he is. I fire, he bounces, but I just completely miss. So now looking for a shot on the 38T, but he is going too fast. I take a hit, and I see this T40. Don't want to get hit by him. That one penetrates his upper hull, and we secure the kill. And then this Covenanter YOLOs across. So I want to kill this guy. He's in a really bad spot. Clutch fire, and I hit the very top left of his turret, and I secure the kill. Now there's only the DW2 left, and I'm fighting for this top gun. Now this thing's pretty mobile, but it's not a Panzer IIIA or anything like that, so I'm going down this hill as fast as I can, trying to get this DW2 for the top gun. There's 6 of us attacking this one guy, so I know he's not going to survive, but whether or not I can get the kills is the question. And nope. I don't get the top gun on this one. But that's a pretty average game for your T40. So, you know, that was a Master Badge, 2nd class, 870 XP, 1,000 damage. So that's a pretty average game for the T40. So for our second replay, we're looking at a Tier 5 game on Winter Malinovka. There's just one Tier 5 on each team, so it's pretty much a Tier 4 game. And for the beginning of this game, I'm going to be giving supporting fire, or camping, if you want to call it that, from this hill up here. So I've tried doing this in my Ferdinand, and you stop right there. But the T40 is mobile enough to get to the top of the hill to be able to snipe. Yeah, with a howitzer. How's this going to go? Actually goes pretty well. The howitzer reloads fast enough where if you miss, it's not necessarily a problem, because you'll reload in time to be able to put another effective shot in. Lee gets spotted, don't have a shot, but that Lee is spotted and I do have a shot, so aim at the dirt in front of him and it hits the very top of his wedding cake turret. Reloading, reloading, reloading. I'm just clicking the fire button, fire, and it just sails to the outside of the aiming circle. But that'll happen, 0.55 accuracy. It's pretty atrocious. Looking around, don't see anybody else. Fire at the dirt in front of him, lead him perfectly, and secure the kill. So now I'm staying up here, and that's a good choice because this Hetzer gets spotted. I knew there's somebody else sniping from up there. Take his tracks out, and he goes unspotted here. So 2 shells go, one hits the dirt, and one of them disappears where he was, so that one definitely hit. And I pull the trigger right as he pops up somewhere else. So the Hetzer's in the cap circle, and I'm seeing if he's going to pop around this corner, but he's smart so he doesn't do that. So I'm thinking about heading off this hill right here, but he stops capping, so he's leaving the cap circle, and there he is. Now, Sixth Sense has a 3-second latency, so I know I've been spotted. Move forward, and I just barely dodge his 105mm howitzer shell. I'm pretty sure I'll reload before he will. Do have 100% crew. And gun rammer, so I fire. Bam. Secure the kill. I see that M4. Now, I'm not sure what gun he's using. If he's using the howitzer, I probably will reload before he will. But I don't, even though I spot him, so my team can secure the kill. I see this T82 put 1 shot in, and the Covenanter puts 2 into me. And I dodge his other 2 shells. So I know the Covenanter's reloading. The DW2 goes unspotted, so I want to spot this guy for my team. I don't want to telegraph where I'm going through the cap circles, because then they'll know exactly where I am. But if I go around the cap circle, they'll have no idea which direction I'm approaching from. I don't see him. These guys in chat are just kind of, throughout the entire game, they're going to be arguing whether or not to cap the baser. So, interesting team. 1 shot in, damages his tracks, but his tracks eat a lot of my damage. But the team can secure the kill, and because I tracked him, I got half of that XP and credits from whoever killed him. So now there's 2 Covenanters left. One of them's on 1 kill, one of them doesn't have any kills. So one who doesn't have any kills might be AFK, I'm not sure. There's the first one. 1 shot through his lower plate, and he bounces all 4 of his return shells. And I know that the reload on the Covenanter is pretty long, so I pull out of cover and secure the kill right through his Glacis plate. So now, this other Covenanter, he might be AFK, I'm not sure. So I'm looking at my map to see where the other tanks from my team are spotting. So, for example, there's a medium 1 on my left that's spotting anything towards the left side. I'm looking right here, and there's a Stug spotting anything to the right. So I want to be looking in places that my team isn't, to increase our chances of finding the last Covenanter. And these guys are still arguing in chat whether to cap or not. So the Stug's heading back to cap, so I'm going to look below this ridge here to see if I can find him. If we can secure this kill, then 1, these guys will stop arguing in chat, and 2, this game will end much sooner than we cap. So I'm rolling down this hill. I want to be careful because he could theoretically kill me with 1 salvo if he penetrates all of them, and he has high damage rolls. And there he is. I don't know if I've been spotted yet, but he's behind a rock, so I'm assuming I haven't. I really want this Top Gun, so I'm going to be kind of cheating, trying to secure that before my team kills him. So I donk that shot completely, and I bounce all 4 of his return shells off my well-angled side. So I'm waiting for the Stug to fire because I want this kill. But the Stug doesn't fire, so I track him and set him on fire. I'm just clicking the fire button. I really want this kill. Click, click, click. Please shoot. Yes, we can secure the kill. So that was a Top Gun in the T40. So let's take a look at the post-game stats here. So this game was a mastery badge in the T40. I also got a steel wall and a scout medal, so that's kind of ridiculous. I did 1,800 damage, more than all of my team combined, it looks like. No, the Stug did quite a bit of damage. So just look at all these modules that did damage on all these tanks. Because of this HE shell, we damage a lot of stuff. Look at that howitzer. I feel kind of bad for that guy. Killed almost all of his crew. So yeah, we put a shell into 6 of the 7 enemy tanks, which is pretty good. So the tactics that you guys saw me use in those 2 replays are similar to the tactics that I use in the T82, the Tier 3 American tank destroyer. Those tactics would be using the mobility of this tank to get to the good firing positions very early on in the game to be able to put this howitzer to work. Some of the other tactics are due to the howitzer itself, where I would pull out of cover, fire, and pull back into cover very quickly, so that if I didn't destroy the tank I was firing at, he wouldn't have a chance to fire at me. A third tactic would be staying 1 line behind the front line of my team, so that when they encountered the front line of the enemy team would have a more immediate threat, which would be the tanks on the front line of my team, so I could fire on those tanks and have a lesser risk of being shot at. So you guys can use those tactics in your T40 to have some of the monster games that I've had. In fact, let's take a look at my service record. This tank is probably, yep, so this tank is just behind the LOL Tractor on my win rate. So I have a 78% hit ratio and 72% win rate in 37 games in this vehicle, which just shows how powerful it can be with someone who has experience in the same tanks that this thing is like the T82. Because I have almost 300 games in the T82, I know how to drive a tank destroyer that has that kind of howitzer, that kind of mobility, and that kind of armor. So experience in the T82 will definitely help you in this vehicle and can definitely allow you to perform very, very, very well. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys tune in next time for more tank reviews and more tank videos. Thanks.